Please welcome David.
Thank you. I'm David Omasete from Strathmore University. So I am a cybersecurity analyst. I'm majorly dealing with trainings in Strathmore University. We do penetration testing, or I do penetration testing, training in digital forensics, cyber threat intelligence. And for today, I'm gonna be taking you guys through how do we create a cybersecurity culture. So Eunice will be coming in. I'll be giving her the opportunity to continue. So it's a joint presentation. Yeah. I'm actually loving the conversation and how we are taking it up. Yeah. Because we have seen about the status quo. We have gotten to a point where we have looked at NC4. We have talked about how hard or easy is it for us to uptake cybersecurity. And I think for us, we get to a point where we want to say it all boils down to what we call promoting a cybersecurity culture, yeah? In our organizations, be it in our different institutions in schools, also in the government. Basically looking at how do we sensitize people, or how do we enable guys to come up with a safe cybersecurity culture that can be used for a long time, yeah? So maybe I can just introduce it, then have Eunice come in and introduce herself as she takes it up, yeah? So, we are looking at the cybersecurity, yeah. We're looking at the cybersecurity journey in relation to creating a cyber-safe culture. And in this case, we want to look at where do you start from, yeah? For you to create a cybersecurity culture for your organization. We're looking at a study from the Cobalt Strike, yeah? In 2022, actually dictates the hierarchy of needs whenever you want to create a safe cybersecurity culture. And one of the things that they put across is the basic cyber hygiene. So in your organization, wherever you are, and this also taps into our personal lives. We all use different aspects in terms of cybersecurity. So what is your personal cyber hygiene? So for organizations, you're looking at the first thing before creating a culture is where are we at, yeah? What do we have as an organization that we can call a baseline and pick it from there? So from there, we get to create our basic hygiene in terms of maybe password hygienes, in terms of threat intelligence that we're gonna look in a bit. Then from there, we do an documentation, yeah? So after we have gotten it as a basic hygiene for our organization, where do we go from there? What do we pick, and how do we ensure that 5 years from now, someone else comes into the organization, they're actually gonna have the same culture that was created whenever we were starting it? Then we can do a management plan. In this case, we are looking to better the quality of the hygiene. So from our speakers, we've actually gotten the aspect of security is not stagnant, yeah? We're always growing each and every other time. We're always getting zero-day attacks each and every other day. And in our case, we are looking to create a management plan in our cybersecurity culture that will ensure that we continue having quality hygiene in terms of cybersecurity hygiene. Then according to Cobalt, the fourth aspect for it was proactive techniques and strategies. So in this case, we have gotten our basic hygiene. We have gotten a documentation of what we do. We have created a management plan for our cybersecurity culture that we are creating. So in this case, now we are looking at what are the techniques, what are the strategies that we can employ in our quest for creating a cybersecurity space so that we ensure that any threats that are actually coming in, APTs, as you can see there, actually mitigated before they even get to make big impacts in our organization. Then finally, in that hierarchy of needs, whenever you're looking at a proactive, creating a cybersecurity culture, we're looking at proactive optimization. So each and every day we are looking to better that cybersecurity culture. What did we do yesterday that maybe wasn't good today? And how can we ensure that today we make it even better for us as an organization? Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, David. Then from there, we go to a couple of misconceptions that we have. Okay, I was supposed to introduce myself. My name is Eunice Maingi. Generally, in organizations, we have many misconceptions about cybersecurity. One of them is that cybersecurity just makes our work a lot unnecessarily, you know, that we have to do so many procedures unnecessarily, or that we increase the cost of operations unnecessarily. Other misconceptions include things like thinking that cybersecurity is for a certain level of organization. But when we look at how all of us are making use of technology from home, before even we reach work, we are using technology all the time. We realize that cybersecurity is for all organizations, you know, and for everyone in the organization. So even as we implement cybersecurity, we are looking at a cross-cutting structure across all the levels in the organization. Something funny also that happens is that in many institutions, there are either no policies, or policies are there, but they're just there on paper. So nobody works on the implementation of those policies or following them. So it's important to create a cybersecurity culture, and this involves a whole panorama of things. Yeah. So if you could just go on and press everything for the entire slide to appear. Yeah. It includes different aspects from initially, yeah, constant training, which has to be the beginning, and being here as in a learning institution and also representing another learning institution, we realize that constant training in cybersecurity doesn't only need to happen in the learning institutions. It's something that has to be done even in our work entities. It has to be done wherever we are, yeah, even in our homes, because we have to start training our children from when they are small, what they need to do and what they can't do when they are online, yeah. Then cybersecurity policies, this is where we set the standards of what can you do, what can be done, what can't be done in our institution. Security management operations, most of these things, we are going to cover them in detail in the next slides. Regular communication and collaboration, then cyber threat intelligence and threat modeling, because threat modeling is like an aspect of knowing where we are as an entity, yeah, what our environment is, what are the threats that face us, because a way of being safe is knowing what risks we face and knowing how to go around, you know, around them, yeah, not being caught by surprise. Next slide, please. So with continuous training, we have indicated there levels, yeah, from basic, immediate to advanced, yeah. This is just to show that everybody in all the organizations needs cybersecurity training. It's not something that is only limited to people who are in tech, yeah. And actually, if we say that, we are all in tech, yeah. We are all using technology in one way or another. So from basic awareness, everybody in any organization needs to have a basic awareness of what they should and shouldn't do as pertains cybersecurity. Otherwise, we're going to start having so many breaches because people are doing things that they're not supposed to do. They don't know where they should step, where they shouldn't step, yeah. Then intermediate skills, we've just given some examples there. Knowledge of what is essential for VAPTs, knowledge of ethical hacking, and from there, advanced skills where there's threat hunting, forensics, malware analysis, knowing what people, what malicious people are doing online, yeah, so that you are able to protect yourself. Next slide, please.
On continuous training, we also have the aspect of gamification. So a research by Trend Micro actually shows that for training, 90% of what people train using gamification aspects is retained. So in our cybersecurity culture, we are looking to ensure that we not only give trainings, but we give quality trainings to ensure that this is a training that people will use even after. And Trend Micro has brought it out very well in terms of how do we, as institutions, as individuals, get to improve on the cybersecurity aspect of trainings. Yeah, that is through gamification. So for those of us who would like to get into more of building a culture in your organizations, a number of them have been highlighted there. We have TryHackMe, which is a good gamification platform for those who want to get to learn and improve their skills in terms of the technical aspect. We also have Trend Micro, and Trend Micro, the goodness about it is that it does not only do the technical aspects of things, but also the awareness aspect in terms of one of the biggest problems right now, what we have is phishing, yeah? And Trend Micro has a very good gamification aspect in terms of phishing. What do you need to see? What do you need to learn? How do you need to go about it? And once you go through it, it becomes very easy for you to build a culture as you're going on in terms of whenever you see an email, it's not just about clicking. You get to find a way of looking more into where is it coming from, what are the links that are sent to me, and how can maybe it affect me if I click on it, yeah? Hack the Box is another good example of a gamification platform that you can use as an organization to sensitize people and build a good culture in terms of continuous training. And also Valve Machines is a good example. From there, we actually have employee awareness. And for employee awareness, we are looking at two aspects, yeah? We can generate a roadmap to ensure that we create a culture for employee awareness. Anyone who comes into organization, where do they end at? And in this case, we are looking at a 5-step approach to creating an employee awareness whenever we look into creating a culture. And the first one is non-existent. And this is where, as an organization, we are looking to see we don't have anything as at the moment, yeah, in terms of creating a culture of cybersecurity. So this is where we decide to gather requirements and needs for awareness, yeah. So we go around and do questionnaires. We ask people, what do you think is something that we are doing or we are not doing that is not creating a cyber awareness for us as a country, for us as an organization or individuals. Then from there we can do or conduct research on the formulation and awareness of the program. So we want to create an awareness program that will work as our organizations or our country's cybersecurity culture. What do we need to implement? What do we need to put in there so that it can be of impact to our people? Then from there we can do compliance. And in this case, we just have heard from the previous speaker of the Computer Misuse Act. So we cannot have a structure that is against that because we live in a land and we need to abide by the laws of the land, yeah? So the second step is to just ensure that we merge whatever we are thinking of creating with what is there in terms of compliance and audits. Then the next one would be, this is now where we promote our awareness and behavior change. So we have not been doing this in organization. We have not been having a culture of trainings, continuous training for our people, and now we want to bring it up. Where do we start from? Perform a root cause analysis, yeah? Why have we not been doing it? Then from here, we can ideally get that which is important for us to create an impact security awareness training, yeah? In this case, impact awareness training is not just a training where it passes by, yeah? So we do it every other year and people go for trainings and everything, but we are looking at from the different departments, from the different places that we are in organizations, which is the best training for these people. Because one of the biggest issues that we have right now in Kenya is there's a lot of information, there's a lot of trainings in terms of cybersecurity, and not so many people know what they want to do in cybersecurity. So you're doing everything. At the end of the day, you come and find you know nothing. Yeah, you have bits of each and everything. But now with this, it actually helps you hone more on what will be a good structure or training for you that will create a good cybersecurity culture and say, these are the people who can do this, these are the people who can do this in our organization, in our country, and everywhere. Then the next one is creating long-term sustainers of behavior change. So we have already created a behavior, yeah, for people to do. We are creating a change in the culture that we have had. How do we sustain it? And in this case, we are looking at building security awareness assessment model. So for the government or for the civil servants, what do they need to know? What's the basic aspect that they need to know that works for them and may not work for the private sector? We're looking at reviewing and updating awareness and objectives. Alluding again to the previous speaker, it always changes day in, day out, yeah? So in this case, we are looking to review and update our objectives so that it matches with that which we have as an organization. Then finally is we want to create a robust metric framework. Here we want to measure, for the past 5 years, we have been doing something. How do we ensure that this is happening each and every other day? And that's where we create metrics and measures to ideally help us get to that point. The other aspect is the awareness training as at now. Now we have our roadmap, yeah, on what we need to do from where we realize we don't know to where now we have and we have a matrix. What are we training our people, yeah? And this is where we are doing brief on threat occurrences. We have heard of threat intelligence that we're going to talk about in a bit. And how do we share it? Kenya has been hit a number of times, especially in 2023. How do you as an organization use that information that has been provided to ensure that your organization, again, does not get hit once such an attack comes your side, yeah? Because it's just a matter of time, yeah? And the next one will be briefing on defensive measures. So you're taking your employees on a training to show what are the defensive measures to take whenever something happens in your organization, yeah? So as the previous speaker, Deborah, was talking, she actually said that people are the first line of defense. So once that has happened and someone has realized it has happened, what do they do? And how do they take action into it, which leads into the third aspect of awareness training, which is training on incident response procedures. So yes, you've gotten it. Yes, you know the defense measures, but how do you respond to it? Yeah, do you unplug your servers? That will be the question. Or do you call someone to come and help you work on it? Or do you escalate it to the next person? Those are some things that awareness actually brings to the organization in terms of culture. From there, we can do a training on how to report and employee obligation to security. So at one point in time, you might be tired, you don't know what you're clicking, and an email comes in and you're phished, yeah? How do you go about it? Do you hide it or sweep it under the rug so that no one will actually know that it was through you that the company was hacked? What is your obligation? Or what is your obligation? In this case, we're looking at creating an awareness to our employees and saying, yes, you can be hacked. You basically take responsibility of saying, I clicked on it without looking, and actually knowing when and how to report it, yeah? So that we do not sweep things under the rug, and at the end of the day, they end up affecting us, because that's one of the biggest issues that we are facing right now in the professional world. No one wants to be seen as the weak link in the organization, yeah? Then the last one will be the security procedures and policies to be followed. We are going to be talking a lot about compliance with policies and procedures, yeah? So which one are you going to be following as an organization, both the internal and the external aspects of policies and procedures that need to be followed. Yeah.
Thanks, David, for that. Then moving on now, on password hygiene. We cannot talk enough about password hygiene because it's one of those things that we all have at least 10 passwords to different applications and devices that we use. In 2020, in the Gartner report, some of the numbers that came up were the fact that over 60% of employees have the same password on different sites. Yeah, people who use the internet have the same password on different sites. So on average, each person has around 15 passwords that they use on their different accounts and devices. And out of these 15 passwords, the user generally has around 5 to 6 different passwords that they keep using and reusing. Yeah. What does that mean? That if one of these passwords is breached, it is very possible that a number of your applications or a number of your devices are going to be breached. Then the other thing is that 90% of the device users actually rely on their memory for their passwords. Yeah. That's to mean that majority of us have not adopted the use of password vaults, yeah, because we take them to be more technical, things that maybe we don't need. We just assume that we can use one password for a number of our devices or have a series of passwords that we go interchanging. This is something that is the beginning for many users. Yeah, when we talk about people being one of the most important link in cybersecurity, we have to begin here. Yeah, so encouraging people to use password vaults. Yeah, encouraging ourselves. Yeah, maybe that's where we should begin to use password vaults. Not sharing passwords, using multi-factor authentication. It's a bit inconveniencing that I need to have my phone every time when I'm using any application, but it's also to my own safety because nobody will be able to access my applications or my account when they don't have one of those things. Yeah. Then we go to talking about multi-factor authentication. We need to adopt using more of the 3 factors that are used when we are talking about multi-factor. Yeah, something we know, something we are, and something we have. Yeah, something we know, the PIN or the password. Something we are, which is our biometric. Is it the fingerprint or the eye scanner or the face pattern or something like that? Then what we have, yeah, something that we receive on email, a one-time password, or something that we receive on another device. Yeah. Why? Because multi-factor authentication has many benefits. Yeah. First of all, it takes away the risks that are associated with passwords. Yeah. Maybe we are not, we don't think we are able to use a password vault at any one moment, but then if we are using multi-factor authentication, then these few passwords that we are using become more secure because you have to use them in combination with something else. We also remember the benefits that multi-factor authentication brought when we were using a lot of remote working with virtual private networks. And also the fact that multi-factor authentication increases a layer of security on all the accounts that we are using, giving us increased security. Then on to security management and operations. Yeah, some of the activities that we need to adopt on a day-to-day basis as part of security management and operations, beginning with security prevention. Yeah, this is where we talk about vulnerability assessments and penetration testing. I think here we have to think beyond these activities at an organizational level and even try to apply them on a personal level, like just do our own stock take and see, okay, if somebody took my gadget now, how easy would it be for them to penetrate it? Yeah, how easy would it be for them to get access to it and to get information that I would like to be only my information? When it comes to security prevention, here also falls the issue of threat modeling and threat management, trying to see where we fall. Yeah. Then security operations, this is where we talk about incidents detection, response, reporting, knowing that we all have a responsibility in this. It's not the work of the security guy to do that. And when it comes to security operations, something that has become more and more important these days is talking about resilience. How, when we are hit, we are going to continue our operations. So in this category, we also have to talk about continuity. What are our continuity options? Yeah, even just as simple as what are my backup options on my phone? If my phone was stolen today, would I need to start from scratch, or do I have some kind of backup? Yeah, and as we go on, thinking about this on an organizational level, it becomes bigger. Yeah, mirror sites, offsite backups. Yeah, how soon can they come up when there's an incident? Yeah. Then compliance and validation. This is where we talk about our security baselines. Do we have a basic minimum in our organization where we don't go below that? Yeah. Everyone who comes into that organization, whether it's the front desk person to the very technical person, we don't go below that. Yeah. Whether it's a learning institution or a manufacturing company, any organization, security policies, security audit standards when it comes to compliance. We are all going to be caught in one way or another, yeah, when it comes to compliance, yeah. Now we are being followed by the DPO, yeah, about data protection. Maybe something that we thought would not affect us so soon, yeah, but it's coming for us. So we have to be alert and awake. Then security infrastructure. That means thinking about the devices we are adopting in our organizations. Are they helping us for security, or are they working against us? Yeah, from the perimeter to the applications that we install, to the hosts that the people are using, to how we manage the data in the organization. And then, interesting enough, cyber threat intelligence, it's becoming the topic of every day. Yeah, intelligence, meaning that we are all alert to what our environment, yeah, what is happening around us, yeah, in which field do I fall, which industry am I in, what are the trends in that industry, am I up to scratch with what is happening in that industry, yeah, in my industry. If anything were to happen today, will I be able to come back to operations, yeah, to resume my operations, yeah. And cyber threat intelligence actually gives a lot of decision-making information to even the strategic level. In fact, they need it, yeah? They need it to make strategic decisions for the short, medium, and long term of the organization.
I think as we close, the last or most important aspect that we want to discuss about is collaboration, yeah, and communication. So communication is internal in terms of the organization. How do you disseminate information from point A to point B? Yeah. How does finance, yeah, help the overall security posture? So remember, in your organization or wherever you are, security is never a one-man job. Yeah. It's a collective responsibility for each and every one of us in the organization, in the society, and wherever we are. So how do you communicate information from one department to the rest? And in this case, you're looking at, for instance, you actually want to come up with a solution in terms of you want to buy products. What information do you give to the procurement so that they can actually help you come up with vendor screening or vendor due diligence? Yeah. So in this case, they are looking at, in case we are attacked using an application that was created by David, for instance, is David possible to come in and help us mitigate the attack in terms of vulnerability patching or wherever? So before even the procurement starts its process, they actually have an idea of what is the culture that we have in the organization that will help us have a secure security posture. You're looking at things such as compliance. In your audit, for the audit that is being done in your organization, does each and everyone in the organization know what the audit looks into? And are you compliant with what each and every part of the organization actually looks like? And that cuts across each and every other department that you have, be it public relations. What information are we disseminating in terms of what we are doing in organization, and how does that affect the Data Protection Act in Kenya, for instance, which is where the legal comes in. How do legal basically advise each and everyone in the organization in terms of litigation prospects and all, to ensure that in the organization, each and everyone is compliant with whatever we have in and out of the organization. Then in terms of collaboration, we are looking at, Eunice has just talked about threat intelligence. That has been alluded even with the speaker before. How do you as an organization relate to other sectors around you, or other organizations in your sector, basically to help you understand what information are you getting and how can you use that information to make decisions for your organizations that at the end of the day you become secure in all aspects, be it the tactical, the operational, and also the strategic implementation of the cybersecurity structure. And with that, we hope you have gained something in terms of creating a culture for your organization, and you might look into implementing one or two things. Thank you.
Wow. Marathon. We did marathon for the last couple of, I think it's an hour. And even that one, questions tomorrow, please, kindly. We are avoiding that traffic jam. But we can stand to stretch for 30 seconds. Don't move away from where you are, apart from Ken. Ken is the one coming